So welcome everyone to our class today. We're going to do a guest speaker for our lesson. I'm super excited. I reached out really far and got my sister to help us, but she works with us at Catherine Gin, our skincare company. She does all of our analytics. She's been working with us for a while now. She has a very different background than me, even though most people look at us as the same person. We have super similar personalities. I look at everything in very creative, artsy, kind of fluffy way, and she looks at everything as hardcore Excel and numbers, and she lives her entire life on an Excel sheet. So that's our one complete opposite. Now she moved to Phoenix, Arizona a couple of years ago. She works down there. She got transferred, but I'll let her go in and take a few minutes and explain who she is, and then we'll go through some questions. This should last about hopefully 20 to 25 minutes, and so we'll begin. Go ahead when you're ready.
So I am Katie Atkinson, and I went to school at Morehead State, got a degree in math and business. Math was something that I really enjoyed, but I thought that business was going to be opening more opportunities for me because I did not want to be a teacher and I did not want to be an actuary. So once I graduated college, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. So I took the first job that was offered and became an admin at UBS, and found it was not for me. I was there for 2 years, and the second that someone asked me to make their lunch reservation was when I was like, this is it. This is not what I want for my future. So I decided that I was going to try and save the world, and I joined Lutheran Social Services as a financial counselor trying to help people. Did that for 2 years and also realized that was not for me. And luckily, a door opened that I was not expecting. A friend of my dad's actually reached out to me and said, hey, we have a job as a financial analyst. I think that this could be a good opportunity for you. Would you like to try it? And I jumped at the opportunity, and I absolutely loved it. I had really no idea what I was getting myself into. So it was just kind of starting at the very bottom and learning what an analyst is. Looking at Excel spreadsheets all day, every day, taking spreadsheets from my boss and kind of figuring out what she was trying to do, what were we analyzing, and so forth. So I worked there for 4 years, and the contract that I was working on, we actually lost it. And so my job wasn't necessarily going away, but it was definitely slowing down. So I decided to switch over to Express Scripts, and I was there for 2 years. And that one really was a good opportunity. I had a boss that pushed me a lot. It also got me to get better at presenting. I was more in a role where I was presenting monthly, quarterly to upper management. And I was there for 2 years, and a former coworker reached out to me and said, hey, we have an opportunity as a business analyst. It's basically numbers. You're not going to be working with dollars anymore, but numbers, headcount, and so forth. So would you like to come and work for us? And I jumped at the opportunity. Sure, let's give it a shot. This was a much smaller company. Manufacturing, they're global. They're based, at that time, they were in Europe, Asia, US. So I worked there, and that's where I am today. I was there for 2 years, and my boss got laid off, and the finance department picked me up, and now I'm back into financial analytics all over again. My boss thought that it would be more important for me, or better, I should say, better opportunity for me to move down to Arizona. They were based in Tempe, was the US headquarters. And so I moved down here about 2 years ago, and I've been here ever since. About a year ago, I reached out to my brother about doing analytics for Catherine Gin, and we kind of tested the waters, and it seemed to work. And so far, it's been going really well.
So real quickly on your transfer, how much time did they give you on the decision to move to Phoenix?
Not much at all.
How much is not much?
I would say, so they reached out in April, and we moved down here June 9th. So it was definitely a very quick turnaround. It was kind of like, this is gonna happen now, and we need you here tomorrow. So it was not a lot, but at the same time, I'm someone that makes quick decisions, and it's like, okay, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it now, and so forth. So signed a 2-year contract to be here for 2 years, and now we just hit that 2-year mark, or we hit it next week. So far it's been good.
So I think it's interesting getting transferred because you hear about it all the time, but then actually living through it is something that doesn't always happen to people. And I remember hearing when, have it for you, it's like, I have to let them know by Monday, and today's like Friday. You have the weekend, think about it, and now you have to move my entire life to Arizona. But so anyway, that's an interesting thing. So the first question I have is, you've been finance mostly your entire career from the beginning, and then obviously, you didn't mention, but you have your master's degree as well. And what's your master's degree in again?
Strategic management.
Okay. And so you kind of made this leap into Catherine Gin, which skincare is at this point, it's 100% analytics, and it's 100% analytics, more important, I guess, 100% marketing. So why suddenly the leap into the world of marketing? Because finance people usually are pretty anti-marketing. And so why the leap? What motivated you to go to the dark side?
So I'm the type of person that I like to constantly be challenged. I like to try new things. And so since I've been now in financial analytics for about 10 years, I was kind of looking for a new challenge. And that's not something at my company. There really is a marketing analytic department because we're somewhat small on this side. So that's when I reached out to Catherine Gin. I sent an email, and I don't know if I can help you, but I would love to try. I'd love to learn how this works. So you want to give it a shot. And so far it's been working. A lot of learning, but it's been working.
When you were a student, did you learn anything in analytics at all? At either of your stops as a student?
I did. First of all, my math degree is actually in statistics. So that gave me some basis. But on top of that, I also took a marketing research class, which I absolutely loved. We had, my teacher was a consultant. And so she split us into 3 different groups. We each got one of her clients. And so we went and worked with the client. We kind of investigated what their issues were and talked about what they would like to get out of this. And then our group had to do cold calls down to Florida. The company was looking to learn more on tourism and what works and what doesn't. And so we were doing cold call surveys down to Florida, and it was actually, I loved it. It was a really good time. And I kind of always had that in the back of my mind, that that's something that I would enjoy doing. And then once again, when I went to my master's, we had more statistics. So it's kind of always been something that through my education, it's always been in my back pocket.
So between Catherine Gin and your other job, why do you think the analytics has exploded since? When you went to school, you were in school 20 years ago, and I don't even remember hearing the word analytics. And now that's all anyone talks about. And think you have a statistics major, which in today's, if you're an undergrad with a stats major, the value on that's so much higher than it was when we went to school. Why do you think between just your experience, why do you think the explosion in the analytics, I'm just curious your opinion,
Because data is everywhere. Data is taking over the world. Everything, and especially now that everything is on the internet, as probably everyone is aware, everything is tracked. Are you a male? Are you a female? Do you live in Minnesota? Do you live in Texas? Are you the ages of 10 to 15? Are you ages 40 to 60? So now all of that data is out there and available. And so companies are able to look at it and saying, okay, so I look at my Google ads and it was, all white males from the age of 40 to 50 from the state of Texas clicked on these ads, and almost all of them purchased something. That tells me that is my prime market. And it gives me that information of, okay, so if I really need to focus on the white male at that age range, what else are they looking at? And how can I reach them more specifically? Are those also the golfers? And I need to reach out into a golf magazine with my product or vice versa. So data is out there and it's telling us so much information. But the problem is that you have to also learn how to analyze the data. Because if someone just gives you a spreadsheet and it's got all these numbers, and we're talking not 10 rows of data, we're talking thousands upon thousands of rows and then your job is to combine it and put it into different charts and graphs and trying to say, okay, is there a trend here? Is there not a trend? why not, or why is there? I mean, basically coming up with what the story is for that chart or graph that you're showing.
What's the most lines you've ever seen in an Excel sheet?
I would say well, now Excel is a little bit different than when I first started. But there were definitely times when it would say there's too many lines, but I mean, 100,000, 200,000 lines is definitely not a big deal. And if you're looking
That's insane. 200,000 lines is not a big deal. I get sick when there's like 10.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's the whole thing is when you're looking at huge companies, you know what I mean? Like if you were looking at Amazon, I could only imagine how big their data sets are. You know what I mean? With all of those different products they have, you know what I mean? And you're just looking at one small portion. They have how many different sectors of their company. So, you know what I mean? And that's something you definitely, rather than getting overwhelmed, you know what I mean? It's focusing in. And that's also why they today now have so many different new softwares that you can use to kind of look at the data rather than just looking at a spreadsheet and being like, oh my goodness, there's 200,000 lines here. What do I do? Now there's softwares that will come in and help you get pointed in the right direction.